Our heroine finds herself in a world where death inevitably overtakes her, no matter which male character she chooses. And there were only 4 men in this world whom she could conquer and achieve success in her end, and that very first day of the meeting came. A bright and cozy hall in which wonderful music for dancing was playing. In that very hall, a certain gentleman was showing off, barely getting closer to the main character. Coming closer, he could be seen clearly. It was Cedric Esteban. The man bowed his head a little and asked Milady if everything was okay with her. Milady still hadn't had time to raise her eyes and see how handsome he was. Looking up at Cedric, she had an awkward expression on her face, and our heroine's name is Yuri Elos. She still continued to feel embarrassed and decided to ask again what this wonderful gentleman had asked her. She immediately began to get furious because she still didn't understand that she was in another world, and her clothes didn't remind her of what she remembered herself wearing the last time. Her thoughts were spinning around the fact that she was lying at home, and now she somehow found herself in another world and in front of such a handsome man. Cedric asked Milady again if everything was okay. He was trying to understand why she was so confused. The man in front of her seemed painfully familiar to her. Suddenly, she saw a window in front of her with hints that dictated the necessary actions for her to survive in this world. If she danced with Cedric, her favor would begin to increase. Now she began to understand that she had once read a novel and found herself in a similar world. And now she remembered that the handsome man, Cedric Esteban, was one of the main characters of this mysterious world. Returning from her thoughts, she realized that she should still answer him so as not to seem strange. Bowing elegantly before the Marquis, she apologized and said that she felt some weakness at the moment, and perhaps they should postpone their joint dance. To which Cedric said that he could keep her company in the restroom, and Yuri flatteringly thanked him for his concern. Milady carefully turned around and headed in the other direction. Cedric was left alone with his thoughts and bewilderment as to why Rhee was behaving so strangely. Someone's footsteps could already be heard in the empty hall. Milady was heading somewhere with a quick step, and her head was already spinning with thoughts about how she had not done what she was supposed to do, dance with Cedric. Thus, the girl did not increase her favor level. Increasing the favor level means winning a male character, but in this world, no matter who she chooses, she will still die. In the year 2015 of the Empire, the peaceful empire was thrown into turmoil after the attack of Duke Losna, and Yuri Elos lost her life. There are so many romances and adventures in the world, and she was unlucky enough to end up in this one. Horrible thoughts consumed her. No matter who she chose, she would still die. In another life, she was living a simple, quiet life in modern Korea. And on top of that, she finally got the apartment she wanted in the housing lottery, and now her life is in danger because she is transferred to this world. Stopping the lady's stormy thoughts, a woman appeared from behind and asked why Yuri was so pale. This woman turned out to be Aunt Eliza, and she was clearly worried about what was happening to the heroine. She reported that she had just seen Yuri refuse a dance to Marquis Esteban, which had left her in shock. In addition, Eliza wondered if Yuri really wanted to spend her whole life alone. Auntie was still perplexed by my lady's behavior. In the original story, indeed, Yuri Elos did not commit herself to any man, and therefore spent her life in complete solitude. And since she chose loneliness, she met a bad end. It seems that, for now, loneliness doesn't seem like such a bad choice to her. Perhaps she still doesn't realize the tragedy of her fate. Yuri began to think of a plan. Suddenly, if she moved to another country, she could avoid the war in the Empire, thus not dying. Considering that she has to maintain the goodwill of all the male characters, isn't it an exaggeration that this ending is the hardest to achieve? And if she follows all the clues and rules, perhaps she will manage to survive, thereby returning to her real life in the recently received apartment. Let's see what comes out of all this. She doesn't want to resort to a romantic ending at all. It seems that for now the heroine is aiming for a solo ending and avoiding death, namely by leaving the country. And for now, at the beginning of his journey, Yuri has no achievements or talents to avoid a tragic fate. After all, for now she ignored the need to dance with Cedric. The prompt window appeared in front of her again, and the ending she chose had certain requirements. The favor level of all the main characters had to be equally high, but not reach romantic, and the stats had to be above a certain level. She needs to develop her talents quickly, and to do this she needs to meet all the main male characters. Yuri hopes that all her efforts will help her achieve the desired result. A maid knocked on the door of Milady's chambers and announced that it was time for dinner. In order to survive, she definitely needs to eat, and at lunch, she will be able to meet one of the male characters, her younger brother. With a cute grin on her face, Yuri asked the maid to take her to lunch. Entering the dining room, she immediately saw that everyone had already started eating and were waiting for her, greeting my lady. The atmosphere in this world seemed quite impressive to Yuri. She had never felt such emotions before. And the dining table was incredibly beautifully decorated with red roses and lit candles, which added even more special charm. Yuri thought that the Duke's family was indeed different. The man sitting at the end of the table was probably her father, Duke Rosenheyer. The Duchess's stepmother, Duchess Roseanne Heyer, was dining next to the Duke and greeted Yuri quite nicely. And just on the other side of the table is Calix Rosenheyer, our heroine's younger brother. The romance with his character started with a tense relationship. Many people didn't like Calix, so they didn't even try to improve their relationship with him. There was someone else at the dinner table. Yuri has quite a large family, as it turns out. Elena Rosenheyer, a little sister for Milady, only one snag. In the original, Elena is not just a half-sister, but also an enemy character for Yuri. The Duke asked the whole family to begin dinner. Looking around, Yuri thought that her father was not particularly friendly towards her. And indeed, even though they are father and daughter, their relationship is not good at all. Yuri's mother, the former Duchess, died, and just 6 months later the Duke remarried, which greatly hurt Yuri. However, the current Duchess and Duke view this relationship as a formality, but Yuri does not know that the Duke still misses his late wife. Suddenly, someone told Yuri that she had barely touched her food. It was Elena, who was very interested in why her sister was not hungry. The not very friendly brother decided to point out that Yuri probably wasn't hungry due to everyone being at the same table. The Duchess immediately responded to Calix's behavior, expressing her dissatisfaction with what he said. Showing concern for her stepdaughter, the Duchess asked Yuri if maybe she didn't like the food and should ask the kitchen to cook something else. But with a sweet smile on her face, Yuri answered her stepmother that everything was fine and there was no need to bother. The Duchess added that Yuri had always had special food preferences, and the kitchen would have treated this with complete understanding. This surprised our heroine quite a lot. Yuri's thoughts were filled with the fact that the Duchess was hinting that she was picky about everything, or she was just emphasizing it, as if it was difficult for her to grasp what was happening now. Yuri decided to tell her mother that she was wrong in her pickiness, and perhaps her lack of appetite was due to yesterday's weakness. A moment later, Yuri stood up from the table and bowed slightly, asking to be allowed to leave their company. It's better to retreat for now. Before she explodes with anger while in the company of this family, she definitely needs to save her strength for the picnic. The sun was illuminating the palace with beautiful colors when Yuri realized something. She did not receive any invitation to the picnic, which left her in shock. In the original story, there should definitely have been an invitation. She decided to scream and ask the maid where she could get this invitation. And then Yuri received information that her stepmother, Duchess Rosen, was in charge of invitations to the estate. It's strange. The picnic is already tomorrow, and her stepmother still hasn't passed on any invitation to Yuri. If she didn't receive the invitation, she wouldn't be able to continue her destiny as she had planned, and this greatly disappointed her, since it was at this picnic in the original story that she was supposed to meet the master of the Magic Academy of another country. And in the original, Yuri was just invited to become a professor at a prestigious academy, and thanks to this emigration, she would be able to escape. Falling to her knees, Yuri began to throw a tantrum in front of the maid, screaming that there was no way she could fail in this story. A second later, Yuri realized something important to herself. She urgently needed to meet with her stepmother. And in order for her to follow the desired ending, she needs to enter into an argument with her stepmother. And as a reward, she will definitely receive an invitation. While the Duchess was drinking tea, Yuri herself knocked on her door. Rosen asked Yuri how she was feeling. It seemed to her that since she had no appetite or strength, she must be unwell, but she still came to her. The Duchess expressed her concern for her well-being, adding that perhaps Yuri should not attend the event in such a state. But if the refusal came after so much time, the inviter would be very upset, so Roseanne had an alternative proposal. "How about extending your invitation to Elena?" asked Duchess Roseanne. Holding back her anger through a smile, Yuri thought about what kind of nonsense and rubbish this woman was talking. But if the bet fails, it will not be she who will receive the invitation, but her sister Elena. Yuri decided to ask the Duchess again what she meant in general. Taking Yuri's hand, Roseanne asked to let Elena go to this picnic instead of Yuri. After all, the hostess of the evening, Marquise Siantik, will be understanding, and Elena has hardly been able to take part in social life due to poor health, so this picnic could be a great chance for her daughter. Marquise Siantik, she runs a prestigious salon in the Empire. The stepmother wants to introduce her daughter to the Marquise. This will be a personal opportunity for her to strengthen her position in society. But Yuri herself also needs this invitation. She must meet the main character. For her, this is a matter of life and death, and Yuri cannot miss this chance. Here, Yuri told her mother that she knew her body better, and her slight discomfort would not be an obstacle to attending the event. She would definitely cope and let her mother not worry. But if Elena really wanted to go, then she could explain everything to the Marquise personally. And then Yuri thought about how much this would be enough for the Duchess to back down. Rosen accepted her objections and intentions to go, and said that she would not insist any longer, as there was nothing she could do about it. And as for Elena, she will still have opportunities to show herself, the Duchess added. Experience of communicating with haughty ladies at work has borne fruit. Yuri understands his stepmother's concerns perfectly well. Now the key event is definitely going to happen. The girl got what she came for, so there is no longer any need to tolerate the pomposity of Duchess Roseanne. The mini-event has been completed, the dispute with the stepmother has been concluded, a reward has been received, an invitation to a picnic at the estate of the Marquise of Siantik herself. The welcoming rays of the sun seemed to tell the main character that she would succeed. It was time to write her own storyline. The radiant assistants wished their young mistress good luck and to enjoy the picnic to the fullest with the most famous lady in their empire. Mrs. Yuri is so beautiful and young, no noble gentleman will leave the girl without attention today. She really counts on it. The introduction of the novel has begun. The second episode has been launched. The chapter is a special beginning, so right here begins the story of her character. The main character has a hypnotizing charisma and a velvety voice, but she will still have to try hard to survive. Lady Yuri still decided to attend Madame Siantik's picnic party. Lady Bianca is so glad to see her among the other nobles. The main character is also very pleased with the presence of Lady Bianca. She was waiting for Yuri to arrive. She is the Count's daughter according to the plot, isn't she? According to the storyline, Lady Bianca was a minor character in the novel. The girl shared all of Yuri's troubles and joys. Let Lady Yuri follow Miss Bianca in real life. The friendly and good-natured energy of this girl immediately captivates. The young ladies sat majestically in the saddle as they rode along the forest road. The weather today was simply stunning. A little more and the girls will reach the valley where they say that flowers have already blossomed. Yuri is waiting impatiently. Let Miss Bianca quickly show them the shortest route to the valley. They must catch the blossoms before sunset. As Lady Yuri wishes, now the main character puts a smile on her face, but literally in a moment everything changes. The ladies had traveled far from the picnic site, but Lady Bianca had been here many times, so nothing would happen, and it would. Cold sweat was running down the main character's face, and the girl's palms were sweaty from anticipation of the inevitable moment in the storyline. And here is a wild pig, right on schedule in the novel. This pig looks very threatening. Why scare the readers like that? It is still a novel. This pig has the look of a serial killer from a horror movie. Something is very uneasy for Yuri. The plot twist begins. The main character is riding a horse. She doesn't have a gearbox, and this wild boar moves very fast, thanks to the author for the plot. The wild boar roared menacingly. The girl's horses reared up in fear, and the bacon attacked the wrong girl. Fortunately, Yuri was familiar with the plot of this novel. Lady Yuri, looking like a hero from a blockbuster, told Miss Bianca to quickly spur her horse and leave here. The boar will not retreat. Miss Bianca obediently turned her horse in the other direction, but Lady Yuri should not lag behind her either. Let Bianca not worry about her. This is not the worst thing that the main character will have to face during the entire plot. So the pig was unlucky. The girl was ready for their meeting. Her character must move on and gain status. Yuri turned her horse and rushed away, taking the attacking heel with her. And this leg is not too healthy. Did the author overdo it? The girl's plan worked. This grunting apparatus rushed after her. According to the plot, this maneuver was easy for the main character, but after experiencing the moment on her own skin, Yuri became scared. The main character squeezed the reins and closed her eyes. Where is he? Where is this stubborn tower master? She's going to die of fear here now. Here. A beautiful light robe appeared before Lady Yuri's eyes. What a relief the girl had finally found this boy. The main character met the tower's master, Ilya Marrakech. This guy made the girl worry a lot. Why did he mess around there for so long? Heavenly long curls, mesmerizing attentive look, soft lips. So stop, what is the girl thinking about? A boar is racing after her at full speed, and she is in danger. She has no time for the pretty, beautiful heroes of the novel at all. Lady Yuri would have been grateful to the tower master for his intervention. That pig was clearly going to ruin her day. The girl let go of the reins. If only Yuri's plan worked, this fabulous young man wouldn't stand and watch a lady die, would he? The main character felt strong and firm hands on her waist. Phew, this cutie decided to intervene after all. The girl opened her eyes. She was floating in the arms of a handsome magician right above the ground, and this romantic plot is not so bad. And a squealing boar rushed right under them, chasing the heroine's horse away. Not today, pig. The main character was saved by the tower master, not a bad girl. Ilya's face was distorted with a grimace of indignation. How dare this boar? How dare this insignificant creature interfere with the research work of the tower master? Oh, it seems Yuri just set up the boar. The tower master flared with rage. A fiery sphere appeared in his palm. Oh no, the poor guy was really going to be turned into bacon now. Flame attack activated. Everything around was engulfed in flames. What a sight, this guy was like a bazooka. Oh well. It was as if a herd of fire-breathing dragons had flown over this plain and burned everything around to the ground, and she was telling the boar not to get into trouble. The girl considered the fire sphere to be the most basic spell, but in fact it turned out that it implied unprecedented power. Every main character used fire magic, so Yuri didn't think this skill was that impressive, but in fact it's super-duper mega cool. What the girl said? Nothing. This is the moment when the charisma of a handsome young man penetrates the girl through and through, and she is unable to throw him out of her thoughts afterwards. The plot now includes a second man, whom the main character can conquer and achieve success. But why is it not so in the real world? Not only did the tower master almost make bacon out of the poor boar, but the entire forest was ablaze from his fire magic. However, the main character cannot help but note that seeing magic in real life is truly an indescribable feeling. Lady Yuri doesn't know how to thank the noble master for saving her. She would have died without his intervention. Here the girl's attention was drawn to a magical light. There was a mark under the character's feet, and what kind of special effects are those? Oh no, oh no, it's impossible to describe their current situation and threat in more detail. The young man squeezed the girl's hand tightly. The main character doesn't like all this. The rift in the tectonic plates is open, and the characters immediately begin to fall into the unknown. My head hurts so much. Did Bree oversleep for work again? Oh no, she's still in the pages of this novel. What actually happened? Finally, the young miss opened her eyes. The tower master was already worried about her health, how she was feeling. Like a girl who lost her life and found herself trapped in a novel. Well, no matter. She's already completely fine. And where are these young people? The tower master sighed heavily. This is a space-time rift, come on. She didn't even imagine it like that in her head. Thousands of amazing forms shone around. Crystal ripples spread everywhere. The characters seemed to be under the surface of the water. I wish I could take a picture of all this. How wonderful it is here. Bree's enthusiastic outbursts were interrupted by a dissatisfied Elia. What's the matter? They actually got trapped and are wasting their time here. She is not by any chance an unawakened mage. Everyone takes a test for magical aptitude as a child, and Yuri actually took it right after she was born. As expected. Why did the young people end up here at all? It was all because of Elia's spell. Her magical potential was revealed, and as a result of the awakening of her magic, a space-time rift was formed, in which they actually got stuck. Well done, girl. The heroine met with the tower master, and even activated her magic. She is moving at an excellent pace according to the plot. So that's how it is the lady interfered with the important research of the tower master, but at the same time blinds the young man with her satisfied look. Well, it starts. So handsome. But such a bore, having met the main male character, you need to earn his favor. Let's go. So what type of communication would this handsome magician prefer? In her world, Yuri read a lot of girly magazines that wrote about flirting techniques. There were also all sorts of tips from popular movie stars, time to show off her knowledge to the world. Yuri coquettishly tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The tower master would choose the one who wouldn't back down so easily. As Aaliyah himself could see, it was all a ridiculous coincidence. But still, the noble lady should apologize. Elia's research was probably very important. The girl is so sorry. Space-time rifts that appear randomly throughout the Empire are related to monster sightings. The girl is very sorry that her carelessness has ruined all the plans of the Tower Master, but still he saved her life, and that is worth something. So the pupils dilated a little. The Tower Master's gaze became much softer. The voice stopped being tense. It worked. The main character began to blink her eyelashes and twirl a strand of hair around her finger, just like all the popular girls in TV series did. At their first meeting, the Tower Master thought that he had a very problematic lady in front of him, and Aaliyah became interested in the heroine. A triumphant success. What a clever girl Yuri is. Another handsome guy to add to her character's collection. The author has excellent taste, by the way. They need to quickly end this strange dialogue and get out of the rift. It's not entirely safe here. Yuri is all for it. And the girl is a taciturn girl, which actually makes her look good. Well, wait, Merlin, the girl will also start making barbs later. A magical mark has appeared. Wow, the main character's whole body began to shine. And what's going on? What did the Tower Master just do? Suddenly, the space-time rift disappeared in an instant and turned into a distant shining point. The main characters teleported back to the Empire's forest, simply unthinkable, minus one more dream of every person. The Tower Master's magic is simply amazing. How many more magical abilities are hidden in this beautiful body? The young lady's praise won't change anything. In fact, the girl sees notifications about his attitude towards Yuri, so it will change a lot. What is this strange sound? This is a signal of the Tower Master's increasing favor towards the main character. What a liar. It turns out that now the girl likes this inaccessible magician with ruby eyes, thanks to the author for the generosity. The title of young mage is received. It increases the closeness with other mages. The mana circle is activated. The character's real name is revealed. Rizir Elaha Roseanne Hire. What the heck? Can we just leave Yuri? Her character just successfully completed the event. Under the influence of the Tower Master, the hidden talents of mana and intellect were awakened. Here, the Tower Master quickly approached the main character and covered her face with his palm, and the guy did not hear about personal boundaries. After which the handsome young man removed his hand. So what was that? Something was wrong with the state of the girl's magic, or was he checking the temperature? The mana circles became connected after the rift opened. It's still newly awakened, so you have to be careful. Wait, was there such a scene in the plot? There is a very clear feeling that this is some kind of new fork in the novel, but why? In order to separate their circles, Yuri must study magic and help Aaliyah. But for now, their circles must be inseparable. The favor of the Tower Master has reached certain conditions. Perhaps this is the opening of a hidden plot in the novel. There is nothing to be done. Aaliyah will teach the girl magic. The introduction to the hidden episode has begun. The head of the Tower Master's apprentice. The way the heroine likes to hear from him about their inseparable circles, it's as if the author guessed the girl's deepest desires. Now the girl's desires do not matter. She is obliged to learn magic from the Tower Master, at least for her own sake. Besides, Aaliyah has no desire to ruin the life of a newly minted magician, and Merlin takes his profession very seriously. If Yuri becomes Aaliyah's student, then his adoration for her will quickly grow. His favor is certainly needed by her. But if Aaliyah's feelings develop faster than other male characters, then Yuri will end up with the Tower Master, which is what the lady is so excited about. Magic-related stats, mana and intelligence, are extremely important to become a magic professor at Pergan Academy. The master of the magic tower, Ilya, is such a significant figure in the world of magic that there is no one in this empire who does not know the name of the magician, and such a person will become her teacher. So Yuri will raise her characteristics related to magic in order to achieve the desired solo ending. The main characters sighed dramatically. Well, since the two of them have no choice, the girl is forced to become the Tower Master's apprentice. There really is nothing that can be done about it. But this is only a temporary measure. The title of temporary disciple of the Master of the Magic Tower has been received. Usually, people don't react like this when they get the chance to become a student of the greatest magician, and the usual doesn't apply to the main character at all. Mana effects increased by 50 points. Intelligence increased by 30. The heroine can gain more sympathy from other mages. A satisfied smile appeared on the handsome hero's face, which meant that Sir Ilya had an unusual student. The girl's name is Lady Yuri. She is from the ducal house of Lord Rosen. You can address her simply by her first name. As the young lady pleases, then the student can also address the tower master by name. The main character will be looking forward to their work together. How soft and strong his hands are, and how his veins pulsate. Stop, she is not here for this. The picnic event ended successfully. Marquise Siontic was so worried about young Yuri, she was saved by the master of the magic tower. Everything is fine. The girl did not become indignant, since the Marquise was very worried. Yuri is such an understanding lady. The owner of the best salon in the empire is now in debt to the heroine. She awakened her magic and awakened the master's first feeling in his heart. The day was a success. But all these romantic adventures are so tiring, especially running from the boar, and Yuri's story is just beginning. I should probably check out her character's relationship window with other people. I wonder what the other characters in the novel think of Lady Yuri. So the first to emerge was the great master of the magic tower. Problematic, temporary relationships the psychologist would not approve. The next thing that appeared was a photo of the main character's father with a quote, "The Duke doesn't know how it all came to this. And what else does this mean?" According to the storyline, her character had no idea about her father's true feelings, so why is this option available to Yuri now? The butler knocked on the door of the main character's bedroom. Richard can come in. The girl is not yet asleep. The butler bowed respectfully to the young lady and brought into her room a delicate bouquet of fresh summer flowers, this from the Marquis Cedric Esteban. That incredibly handsome guy with the sad look is the first main male character that the girl encounters when she gets into this novel. The flowers give off such a pleasant and light scent. Each flower has its own meaning according to local ethics, so beautiful and unexpectedly pleasant. Along with the bouquet, the young Mistress Yuri was also given a card, which said that Cedric wished the lady a speedy recovery. The butler and the main character's personal maid stood there in happiness. Their girl had grown up so quickly. After all, this was her first card. This card doesn't mean anything at all. Marquis Esteban just remembers that Lady Yuri wasn't feeling well that day. It's just a gesture of politeness. According to the plot of the novel, if she doesn't dance with this languid, handsome man with eyes the color of fog, the heroine will later receive a bouquet from him. However, Cedric's favor level had to drop. It was such a noble and strong gesture. This guy would break a lot of hearts in the real world. Here, the main character felt a chill run down her spine. What was it that caused such a reaction? The girl began to look around and saw that her younger brother Calix had passed behind her, glaring at her unkindly. What's wrong with this boy? When he was a child, Yuri locked him in the closet or took away his toys. But where did this bouquet come from? The older sister just received this beauty as a gift. Calix sees that Yuri is not very upset about it. But should she? Why would a girl suddenly get upset after receiving a nice and beautiful bouquet of fresh flowers? Calix does not understand the female gender at all. Here the young heir to the duchy was struck as if by lightning. Something painful and distant flashed in his eyes. But what was the matter? The boy muttered through his teeth that his sister's reaction was completely different when Calix gave her the bouquet, and what was he muttering about? It doesn't matter anymore. This story is buried far in the past, just like the hope that Yuri did to her younger brother. Let the little sister not even take it into her head. All this is nonsense. All of Calix's feelings and grievances have no significance or importance. So it is necessary to work on the relationship with this guy. The girl somehow feels uneasy because he is like a feral wolf cub who does not know human affection. Wait a minute. According to the storyline, today was also a good day for Lady Yuri's younger brother. She urgently needs to open a relationship window with her character's younger brother. Calix doesn't want to mention this person. Well, the trouble is, their relationship is on the verge of disappearing. This mechanism has been running for a long time and continues to separate them. And all this is because of the intrigues of the main character's vile stepmother. It is because of this bitch that the younger brother avoids Lady Yuri. This can't help but be upsetting. Calix is a great guy and will one day become their father's successor. It is necessary to support the younger brother and show Yuri's true attitude, and it would also not hurt the heroine to have the Rosanne Duchy family behind her in the future. Calix won't make the first move, which means you'll have to take the initiative. You need to sort out the misunderstanding artificially created by your stepmother. The main character has her own clear storyline, and with her appearance and intervention, the girl has already changed the branch of the novel. We need to take into account that mini-event with the devilish stepmother and the hidden episode with the master of the magic tower. And also the availability understands the feelings of other characters in the novel. The status window has changed, and even this bouquet from Cedric. Now everything became obvious. The plot line of this novel began to differ from the original, and it was the girl who began to change it. But should the main character take this for granted? After all, she can write her own plot. Young Miss Yuri requests an audience with his lordship. Let the Duke's daughter come to his private office. Duke Rosen's face immediately became tense after his daughter's visit, and his eyes became heavy and painful. The main character gracefully curtsied. Lady Yuri really hopes that she is not distracting her father from anything important. The girl tried to express all the warmth and tenderness in her eyes, looking at her character's father. There was no warm gesture in return from Duke Rosen, and a deafening and disconcerting silence fell over the office. So what business did Lady Yuri decide to visit Duke Rosen for let her sit down, as if she had come to the school principal's office? How big is the gap between father and daughter that their personal conversations are so formal and difficult? Well, the girl wasn't going to give up after the first difficulty that arose. Yuri rang the small bell. Duke Rosen's personal assistant entered his private office with a tray in her hands, and Yuri prepared tea for them first. It would be better to talk over a cup of spicy and hot tea, which Lady Yuri did, preparing tea for her father. The main character's late mother loved to drink chamomile tea. This should evoke pleasant nostalgia. Yuri wants their relationship to become warm. There is little information about the heroine's father, so Yuri had to improvise since she brought tea here. The topic of their conversation would be difficult. Not at all. Lady Yuri hadn't spoken to her father for so long, so she decided to take care of him a little. There was an awkward silence. Duke Rosen was clearly thinking about something of his own. Let Yuri say what she wanted. There is no specific topic of conversation, just a conversation about what is happening in the life of the main character. Just recently, Lady Yuri went on a picnic to the Marchioness of Siantic. The Duke must have heard about this event. Wild boar means that Marquis Siantic apparently takes terrible care of the hunting grounds on his territory. And after such a scandal, the Marquise got off with just simple apologies. Girls from noble families could have suffered seriously. This way of solving problems clearly did not please the father. The Marquise herself was terribly frightened, but then something else important happened. So let Lady Yuri not frighten Duke Rosen so much. Her day had already started off quite threateningly. What else was the matter? The Duke of Rohan has nothing to worry about at all. The main character has awakened as a magician. I mean, how is that? The girl took the test after birth. The master of the magic tower himself confirmed this, so this is the unshakable truth. The Duke was already sure that the magical branch of their family tree would be cut off, but Yuri suddenly woke up. If you think about it, Yuri's late mother also had the makings of magic. Let Duke Rosen tell you about it. Lady Yuri's mother did indeed inherit the magical gift, but it never fully awakened. So that's how the conversation between father and daughter became closer, even though there is still an unbreakable wall between them. However, this is a great chance for the main character to pave the way for her to get closer to her father. And how old was the father when he met Yuri's late mother? Her mention should warm the old man's heart. A long-forgotten pain was frozen in Duke Rosen's eyes. His father was then the same age as his daughter is now. The atmosphere around began to change. There was no longer a feeling that the daughter would need a shield and a spear. So we were talking about Mom. By the way, it's high time for Yuri to think about marriage. What did he say? Why did the conversation suddenly go in a completely different direction? The Duke would rather send his daughter to another family than establish a relationship with her. The old man is serious about this now. Lady Yuri had not yet thought about marriage, and so little time had passed since her debut at the ball. What's going on in the Duke's head? We need to take control of the conversation immediately. Yuri is glad that she has similar talents to her mother. Duke Rosen stared for a long time at the cup with a long-forgotten taste. The magic tower is not connected to any country. Although the tower master nominally holds the title of knight, Elia shows no overt loyalty to anyone. To become a student of such a person is impressive, but it also carries a trail of consequences. But now there is nothing to be done about it. Let the daughter remember one thing. Yuri already knows this for sure. A magician must never reveal his true name to anyone. A true name can be a deadly weakness for a mage, so don't let the tower master know yours. The main character takes into account her father's wishes. He is clearly trying to warn her and even worries about her fate. After a short conversation, the Duke of Rohan's face once again assumed a cold mask of detachment. Father is at it again. But this is only their first step towards each other. Lady Yuri can go. The girl bowed gracefully. How difficult it was to communicate with the heroine's father. Does he really want to send his daughter away, even if their conversation was fruitful? So the first item on the to-do list for today is completed, and our next victim is our charming little brother. Who is there to squeeze by the cheeks? Today is such wonderful weather. Well, if that is so, then what is sister doing here? At such a wonderful moment, the elder sister decided to drink her tea in Calix's reception room, and he is an observant fellow. This tea is so aromatic. Yuri put chamomile in it. It calms the nerves of even little boys. He's about to fly up in indignation. The mini-event has begun. You need to drink tea in your younger brother's waiting room for at least 10 minutes, just so that your brother doesn't throw it out the window. If successful, the relationship with the younger brother will improve. The older sister just wants to get closer to Calix. What she said. Well, why is the little brother standing there frozen over his boring papers? Let him drink tea with Yuri. What kind of nonsense is going on now? Why is Calixa drinking tea with her older sister? What was brewed in that tea Yuri is clearly not himself. Calix was indignant for a long time, but still plopped down in a chair opposite the heroine. And what was going on here? The younger brother had no idea that his sister had so much free time for absurd things, at least for now. And what else should that mean? Yuri came to tell important news and share her impressions of it with her brother. Just recently, the elder sister attended the picnic of the Marquise of Siantic and then woke up as a magician. Isn't it great? And soon Yuri will be the apprentice of the master of the magic tower. Wait, we are talking about Master Elia. That is, the elder sister became the student of the greatest magician in the empire. Calix finally became interested in their conversation. Well, this guy definitely cares about his older sister. We need to get his attention and interest back. The main character simply thought that her brother would like to know about this news, so she came to share it with him. That's right, because if the future head of the duchy had not learned about such news, then what kind of successor of the family would he be? The younger brother didn't get the point at all. We're talking about human relationships here, but never mind, he's a stone boy. Yuri will awaken his warm heart. By the way, how dare Marquise Siantic invite people to her place when her husband treats his hunting grounds so carelessly? How could Yuri retreat after receiving only an apology? It's equally suspicious that Elia was there. He's the hardest person to contact, so what was he doing there? And besides, the desire of the greatest master of the tower to take someone from the Rosen family as his student is not at all logical. Well, the boy is just a spear of his father, so young, but already so thoughtful and deep. Calix said exactly the same thing as Duke Rozan. The younger brother immediately spat tea in his sister's face. He could have just asked her to leave. The younger brother didn't do it on purpose. His sister herself stunned him with her words, so Yuri said it now. Calix nervously wiped the remains of his tea from his chin. His tongue was swollen. His suit was wet. He looked so funny. How lovely. Both the father and the little brother are worried about the girl. It's incredibly nice to hear. The eyes of the heir to the Rozan duchy immediately widened. It seemed that the protagonist had blurted out her conclusions too hastily. Calix was clearly not yet ready to attempt a rapprochement. His mind and feelings had taken the worst hit. The younger duke winced in rage and slammed his fist on the chair. Yuri had actually said that they were worried about her. Cold sweat began to run down the girl's face, so they can simply forget this moment if the sister is wrong. Let the boy tolerate his older sister a little longer. They both need to improve their relationship. Does Lady Yuri always throw her words around so easily to forget that if it's not true, she's like 5 years old? So the guy got really angry? Well, yes, his wayward sister has such a habit. She will work on herself. Perhaps the sister was mistaken because Calix and their father said the same thing. But since the brother says that it is nonsense, then that is how it is. What the hell is this mouth saying? Yuri is stalling for time, but at the same time she is making herself look like an idiot in the eyes of her younger brother. The younger brother has no intention of wasting his time on such empty chatter. It is better to end this ridiculous conversation. Let the older sister not take his words to heart, although she certainly won't have any problems with that. There are 3 seconds left. Calix doesn't want to listen to Yuri's story anymore. He's not interested at all. The mini-event tea party with his younger brother is over. Calix's favor has increased toward her character, the little liar, and now let his sister leave the insipid one. He needs to work. It was definitely the sound of growing favor. She almost failed with Yuri. Calix almost managed to kick her out. But why then does this small and wounded young man still seem so alienated? Since the main character ruined her brother's mood, it's time for her to go. Apparently, Yuri misunderstood everything. The main character's signature radiant smile and disarming kindness at parting, but Yuri will return. The younger brother snorted in displeasure and turned away. The little bastard. Yuri would show him his love anyway. The main character walked through the duchy, accompanied by her maids. How beautiful it is here. Truly every girl's dream. The girl decided to open a relationship window with the heroine's younger brother. The line changed a little, although it still causes hostility in Calyx. If the boy's thoughts have changed, then his attitude has changed too, and this can safely be considered progress. Then the clicking of Lady's heels was heard. The governess was hurrying to the main character. Why is Lady Yuri walking around here? What happened? Why such a rush and excitement? The assistant has already searched for her mistress. After all, today Miss Yuri must take part in a dress fitting together with Mrs. Roseanne and Lady Elena. Did Duke Rosanna's daughter really forget about this event? Was it even on the schedule? Why couldn't she bring a smartphone here? It's interesting what kind of fashion is going on here. The stepmother and Elena are such schemers, but it's related to the outfits, so it'll be chic. The young lady had better hurry to her stepmother and stepsister. The ladies have already looked for Yuri. How could a true lady forget, and even make herself wait? What kind of tone is this? How can a servant allow herself to do such a thing? Why did Lady Yuri freeze? They should already be running to the fitting at breakneck speed, that's it. The heroine is already on her way. The main character entered the room. The butler announced her visit to try on dresses. Well, I never. Well, finally Yuri is here. And the ladies were already starting to worry about the girl's health. Elena is so happy to see her sister. She somehow doubts it. Okay, according to the script, she needs to portray a sweet and modest stepdaughter, but Yuri is so happy about the day they spent together. This was already too much. A stately man with a luxurious mustache entered the room to try on the dress. It took a lot of effort for the stepmother to arrange for Mr. Kaminsky to visit, and Yuri so easily neglected him. And dear Elena insisted that she would not try on dresses without Yuri. She respects her sister so much. Well, mother. From a lady's point of view, words of forgiveness can be taken as weakness, so Yuri is grateful to Elena, but they could have started without her. A sweet smile, wide eyes, and a knife behind her back. What a wonderful family. Oh well, the girl will put things in order here. Another window popped up in front of the main character. The duel begins. A comparison of elegance points with Elena. What kind of graphics are these that appeared? It means this fake brat challenged Yuri to a battle. Well, let's go. A red warning flashed in front of the girl. Her character's elegant stats were now blocked. That's why the duel of elegance is won by Miss Elena. Lady Yuri loses in disgrace, and that's inevitable. It can't be, but why did the heroine lose without even having time to do anything? What a disgusting laugh this snake has. Apparently, such an outcome of the duel was inevitable according to the plot line, and the girl was already at the very beginning of the work. And I already want to stuff these two into a closet and throw it off a cliff. A new notification has been received. Well, what else is there? The main character gets a penalty event. Stop what? What is this that just popped up? Author? They have a cancellation here. Yuri needs to get an apology for her maid's rudeness. Failure will result in a decrease in the level of elegance. What an ignorant pig! This novel never ceases to throw up surprises. The girl cleared her throat and headed towards the rude woman in the apron. This brat is always next to Elena. Let her remind you of her name. Her name is Rowana. She is the daughter of Viscount Melton. That's wonderful. Viscount Melton is a pawn of the main character's stepmother, and this bitch is Elena's lackey. And why does Lady Yuri need the name of the maid? The main character could not help but notice how diligently the maid performs her duties and tries to please her mistress. And when the indecently helpful maid dared to make a remark to the heiress of the duchy, Yuri was simply stunned. Cold sweat immediately started running down the maid's face. What kind of look is that lady having? She exudes a threat. You can even feel it with your hands. Elena immediately gasped in fear. Could this really be true? How could her Rowana allow herself to do something like that? The maid immediately began to retreat into the corner. She looked at her mistress and did not know at all what to say to her. The sound of the tea set was heard. Well, my dear, Elena treats her assistant so well. She is so worried about her. The stepmother will pretend that she didn't hear anything. Apparently, Rowana was just nervous because of the long wait. Duchess Roseanne asks her stepdaughter to be understanding, as expected from this piece of trash. However, the main character is different now, and she is interested to see how her vile stepsister will cope with this situation. From the bottom of her heart, Miss Elena apologizes to her beloved sister. Where can a lady vomit here? The rudeness of the personal maid was unacceptable on her part. It was her mistress's fault. Elena was very sorry. The penalty event has been successfully completed. Phew. Yuri almost lost all her elegance points without even opening them. Since Elena asks so, Yuri forgives. The personal assistant bowed low to the main character. Let the girls get used to it. The rules have changed. So we can finish with the domestic squabbles. The stepmother clapped her hands. Time to try on dresses. The young ladies had already made Mr. Kaminsky wait too long. The man rubbed his mustache pompously. And the girl alone sees this. First, the huge ego of this guy enters this room, and then he himself with his mustache. He is the most talented tailor in their empire, but he has more pride and pomposity than talent. Mr. Kaminsky wants to show the young ladies his new summer collection samples. What a luxurious yellow dress. My dear daughter is so beautiful. My mother has one who is the most beautiful. Elena is the most beautiful. My stepsister smiled slightly sarcastically. However, this dress in the color of yellow tulips really suits Lita Elena. Yuri is amazed. The main character began to look at the models offered by the tailor Kaminsky for her character's stepsister. As expected from this sycophant, each outfit is chosen according to the colors that are most suitable for Elena. Why did the stepsister's cheeks flush? What's the matter? Those two snakes are up to something again. We can at least try on the dresses in peace. This beautiful dress really suits Elena, but if you change the color, it would look great on Lady Yuri too. Sir Kaminsky could not make the same dress, only in a different color scheme. This is a great idea. The baby is beautiful as always. What does Yuri herself think about this? Because this way, the girls will have a reason to say in public that they are loving sisters. That's what it's all about. The girl began to remember that scene in the novel. What a piece of crap. According to the plot, Yuri actually went out in public in a similar dress, which turned into a real disaster for her. Yuri will not take part in this pathetic clown show. This dress suits Elena perfectly. Yuri will not deprive her of her moment of glory. However, Yuri does not see the design that would suit the heroine at all. What she said. What Lady Yuri wants to say is that the talented work of the Empire's best tailor does not measure up to Her Highness's taste. That's not what Yuri meant at all. There's no need to justify the young lady. The tailor won't sell dresses to someone who doesn't consider them worthy of herself. Well, what a pity. You can't tell from Yuri, but she is heartbroken. She hopes that Kaminsky will do a great job on her stepsister's dress. Let young Yuri have no doubt that the best tailor will go all out for Miss Elena's dress, and that's fine. The tense dress fitting is finally over. The main character has regained her elegance glasses and deprived these snakes of the opportunity to humiliate herself. The stepmother asked the entire staff to leave. She and her daughter needed to talk, as Mrs. Rosen would have it. So dear Elena knows how much her mother adores her and worries about her future in the Empire. My dear daughter, so beautiful and young, there are so many opportunities open to her now. She cannot miss any of them. You couldn't find a better daughter than Mr. Rosen. She's just her young copy. Her mother brought her to the duchy for a reason. Here the young lady had to become better. The stepmother is even now promoting Elena up the hierarchy of high society. Today Yuri dug her own grave. It's the day of her social funeral. Without a dress from Sir Kaminsky, the whole of high society will simply laugh at her. This is the perfect chance for sweet Elena to outdo her stepsister and get all the attention of high society. Little Elena won't let her mother down. She can't bear to see this woman's daughter happy and surrounded by everyone's attention. Elena will cope. A maniacal gleam appeared in the stepmother's eyes. Her hatred and envy of Yuri's mother knew no bounds. Well, what else can her daughter do? Of course, Elena will do everything to become the flower of high society and get all the glory for them. What an obedient girl. Mom doesn't need to worry about anything. Yuri is burying herself. Elena just needs to go out into the world. Well, how lucky Mrs. Rosen is to have such a wonderful daughter. They should get what was given to others. The stepmother has been poisoning her daughter's mind with toxic aspirations and achieving goals at any cost since birth. It's time to reap the benefits. The main character is comfortably settled in her bedroom. It was a long and full of impressions day, and tomorrow there will be more. The heroine received a new notification. Her character should not forget that tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, her first lesson will take place. What an original invitation! Tomorrow will be the first lesson of magic with a wonderful wizard, and how will Yuri fall asleep now? The night flew by unnoticed. The main character was already obediently sitting in the study room of the Rosen Duchy estate. The girl kept looking at her pocket watch, wondering when the hand would finally show the right numbers. Every second seems to drag on forever. There are only 2 minutes left until the start of the first lesson. Will the greatest master of the tower be late? If such a person was going to break their agreement, if the stepmother found out about it, she would send him a basket of fruit in gratitude. The unusual student sighs so deeply even before the start of her first lesson. Where does that velvety voice come from? A fabulously handsome young man appeared before the girl. The tower master even changed his clothes for the occasion. Yuri sighed in delight and opened her mouth. If the student was sighing like that, then she wasn't particularly happy about the upcoming study with Aaliyah. Let him think better. The girl almost drooled. So how did the master of the magic tower get here? The door and windows were still closed, and his appearance was silent. So was it even worth asking Aaliyah about this? Let the main character look around carefully. Wait, this is a completely different room. Yuri is moved. There are cauldrons everywhere, many ancient magic scrolls, a bunch of books and relics. Flasks with plants and colored liquids are placed everywhere. It is immediately obvious that this is the room of a real magician. That is, the main character was simply transferred to the Tower Master's room. The girl didn't even notice anything, but how? The kidnapping of a lady from the Duke of Rosen's family could turn into trouble even for the Tower Master. And Ilya knows what kind of kidnapping it is. So magical influences can really cause misunderstandings. The mentor did nothing wrong. The tower is located in a place with a strong magical influx, and therefore is simply ideal for training, which is why Ilya transferred the student here. In that case, it would have been better to mention such teleportation in your letter. Then there would have been no misunderstanding and this dialogue. Well, the great magician of the empire didn't think about this. It's obvious anyway. Ilya didn't have to explain it. Ilya made a mistake after all, so it's better to agree with Yuri. Moving the noble woman without warning could bring trouble to the Tower Master. And besides, the great magician installed a teleportation point in the estate of Duke Rosen. How will he react to this, in Ilya's opinion? The handsome magician's cheeks immediately turned red. The girl's words indicated that the young student was worried about her mentor. Wait, how did this sly, handsome guy come to such a conclusion? What gave the girl away? Did she really start drooling? The main character was bombarded with notifications about Ilya's growing favor. How to stop this device? Yuri finds it hard to restrain himself next to him. Ilya is a teacher. If something goes wrong between him and the Rosen family, it will interfere with the teaching. It sounds reasonable, but next time it would be better if the teacher came officially to the estate before the magical transfer. Accepted. The first lesson of magic has begun. Today the girl must realize her circle of wounds. Sounds interesting. The study of the mana circle failed. What the hell? Why? What did the main character manage to do wrong? She only opened the book. The lesson is over. The completion percentage is 0. Despite Yuri's concentration, the result was not achieved. She is so exhausted. The student should not despair so much. It is very rare for someone to be able to realize their mana circle on the very first day. Oh, how Ilya's points are going, so she needs to pull herself together. And Ilya is one of those rare cases from someone who became the greatest magician in the empire at 25. No one would expect anything less. Well, that means the girl is a mediocre magician? Well, you shouldn't immediately condemn yourself to some kind of status. And the master of the magic tower would also like to ask his student for something. It concerns her true name, which was obtained when her magic was activated. So, everything inside the heroine sank. This is a very delicate and dangerous topic of conversation. What the Tower Master wants to say now. The girl immediately remembered the conversation her character had with her father. He strictly ordered her not to tell anyone her true name, because revealing her true name could put the girl in mortal danger. Oh my. So the father was very prudent, warning his daughter in advance what Ilya wanted from her. The magician is so beautiful. His penetrating and noble gaze is hypnotizing. Does he really want to harm Yuri and gain power over her? I can't believe it. The student must promise her mentor that she will never tell anyone her true name. Ilya is such a sweetheart after all. Especially considering her noble background compared to the commoner Ilya, it would be impossible for a famous family to hide their name. Even if such cases are rare, sometimes you have to be prepared for death. What a darkness. A girl should always be on the alert. The girl immediately turned pink. Yuri tucked a strand of hair. Why was she so pleased with the care from this guy? It's deep night, and the main character can't wait to look into the window of a relationship with a beautiful and mysterious magician. Wait, but Elia's favor status didn't change at all. The girl thought that things had become much warmer between them. Apparently, not every time her favor increases, the hero's attitude towards her character will change, but in general, it's offensive. There was a knock on the door of the young lady's bedroom. What was going on? Who decided to disturb Yuri at such a late hour? It's the butler. The whole thing is that his lordship has returned to the estate and asks the young miss to come to him. What happened? The main character immediately rushed to her father's office. He was safe. Everything was fine. And why was Duke Roseanne silent all the time? What is this oppressive aura around? The girl has a bad feeling. After all, the father himself invited his daughter to talk. And this is in the middle of the night. So why is my father so quiet now? And how did the meeting of the nobility of the empire go? Did everything go smoothly and without complaints? Maybe someone was executed. Maybe a palace coup is coming. Everything is fine. Quite verbose. Apparently, the father was unhappy that Yuri did not come out to greet him. She thought that the Duke would want to rest, since it was already late and he was clearly tired. The head of the Duchy of Roseanne was not that tired. But what was the matter? They would sit and play the silent game until dawn. What's going on here? The girl doesn't remember this fork in the novel's plotline. Philip said that his daughter hadn't had a new dress for a long time. No, not that. How can I rewind this scene back? What happened to Sir Kaminsky apparently reached his father's ears. Not without the intervention of his vile stepmother, of course. You need to get off with a neutral answer. It's just that Lady Yuri is happy with the dresses she already has. Yuri is the lady of the Roseanne Duchy, and yet she doubts that she needs a new dress. What kind of accusations? She is saving their house budget. It seems like everything has only gotten worse. Father has become gloomier than a cloud, and the atmosphere has become tense to the limit. So what to do now? The heiress of the Roseanne family cannot doubt the need for a new dress. She represents the duchy and high society. What should the main character do? She can't stumble and deviate from the intended plotline. She needs to think faster. Her father is on the edge. Then the butler entered his lordship's office. What a relief. His appearance was simply a salvation. Fresh tea was ready. Yuri did not hear it. Let the servants bring hot tea. What is happening now? Is this some kind of gesture of reconciliation on the part of Duke Roseanne? It will be necessary to later believe the window of relations with the father of the main character. The conversation about the mother then nevertheless softened his heart. The butler rolled a cart with freshly brewed tea into the office of the head of the duchy. Its trail immediately spread throughout the entire room. This is the aroma of chamomile. Yuri's soul immediately felt warm and calm. This pleasant smell had a calming effect on her. His lordship chose this chamomile tea himself when he returned to the estate. So the tired father went to choose chamomile tea at night after the meeting of the nobility. Philip shouldn't have told him this. The aroma of this tea is truly wonderful, as is the taste. It is like a warm embrace, the perfect ending to this dialogue. The head of the estate looked closely at his daughter, and for a moment something flashed in his gaze, something almost elusive. Philip began to call his master. His lordship was apparently still a little tired after the meeting of the nobility. Apparently, yes, and Duke Roseanne also wanted to tell his daughter that their family's financial situation does not oblige Yuri to save on her outfits. The butler began to cough, and his master again expressed himself not quite clearly as to what her father was trying to tell her. His lordship tries to tell his daughter that my lady should acquire everything she needs to enter high society. So that's what was meant, and her character's father is so shy. How nice it is to have such touching care. The main character is very happy to know that her father cares about her. She will think about her wardrobe. Lady Yuri will order herself some new clothes so that her father will no longer have to worry about such ladylike trifles. And even though his daughter wasn't worried about their cost and she really was in a fairy tale, the Duke warmly squeezed the cup of chamomile tea. The father's growing favor towards her character? Well, finally. Otherwise, Yuri had already begun to worry about the wall between them. Since that's all, the girl will go to her chambers to rest. She is grateful for the delicious tea. She really liked it. Good night. The head of the duchy said goodbye to his daughter and looked at her with unbearable longing. Why do the characters in the novel torment themselves so much? What a day. An instant kidnapping by a handsome magician. Yuri likes to call it that. A warm conversation with his father. Here, the main character's thoughts were interrupted by an unpleasant voice that was already familiar to her, judging by the snake-like hissing. It was her stepmother. And why isn't this viper sleeping? Rumors reached the stepmother that the Tower Master wasn't at the estate today. Something happened to them. This snake is just itching to hear about his stepdaughter's failure, to hear that she was neglected and humiliated, that young Yuri wasn't good enough for such a great man in the Empire, as expected from that bitch. Today's lesson was cancelled because Sir Elia had some serious unscheduled business to attend to. What a disappointment. The stepmother is so sorry. The stepdaughter is probably so upset. But why all of a sudden? Let the snake not delude itself with illusions. There is no reason to be sad here. They just moved their occupation to another day with the Tower Master. There is no tragedy. That's how it is. They moved it to another day. What's the matter? The stepmother looks upset. She was just worried about Yuri. The stepmother placed a cold hand on her stepdaughter's shoulder, saying that she was so sorry that Yuri couldn't order a dress from the best tailor. If the stepdaughter suddenly changes her mind, then Duchess Roseanne will be able to arrange another meeting with the tailor. There was absolutely no need for this. This bastard was trying to impose his will on the girl. She even involuntarily squeezed her hand on her shoulder. It's okay, stepmother shouldn't worry. Let Mr. Kaminsky focus on Elena's dress. What's the matter? The stepdaughter doesn't understand that if the young noblewoman doesn't have a dress from Kaminsky, then people will simply look at her askance. Yes, even if it is so, but Lady Yuri will be able to live with it. Just like a caring stepmother, right? It's not the worst thing in life. Well, since it was Yuri's decision, there was nothing to be done. Where did the little brat get such confidence after Kaminsky's refusal? The main character bowed in an elegant curtsy. She was grateful for the concern. Let the stepmother not worry like that anymore. Excess stress leads to wrinkles on the face. The stepmother nervously bit her lip. What was this brat up to? Could it be that this spoiled brat has found herself another tailor and is hiding his work? Kaminsky's tailoring has dominated the empire for so long, it's time for a fashion revolution. What a wonderful day. In this novel, the weather is beautiful every day, so Yuri won't want to leave here. According to the storyline, after the social event, the Crown Prince will introduce a new designer to Lady Yuri. However, the main character decided to find this man earlier. The carriage for the young lady is ready. The girl almost got into the carriage, but then she was stunned by a familiar male voice. Her sister was going somewhere. Yuri almost died. Is it really possible to scare elders like that? Okay, the heroine needs to improve her relationship with her relatives. Did Calix really appear so suddenly? My sister jumped up on the spot. How handsome this character is, in the real world, he would be a target for attention. So the future head of the duchy practiced swordsmanship, that's how it was. But it's so hot today. This guy wouldn't sit in an office without air conditioning in the summer, so Yuri decided to leave the estate for a while. If suddenly the younger brother needs something while Yuri is gone, Calix growled, "No need." That's what the girl thought. Well, okay, since the air is not ready to send rays of goodness, then the girl perhaps should hit the road. The main character must manage to return before sunset, and she has important tasks ahead of her. So the girl barely got into the carriage in this dress, and the carriage ride itself was quite an ordeal. And is it really a very hot day today? Or is the girl simply out of breath while climbing this carriage Everest? Here, a strong male hand slid into the main character's carriage. What was that? The sun baked Yuri's head. The charming Calix stood by Lady Yuri's carriage, gallantly extending his hand to her, and there was something new in his eyes. An image of Calix appeared on the general portrait of the main male characters. Oh well, the author was just joking. You can admire those ice-colored eyes forever, chiseled and noble facial features. He is perhaps the most handsome male character. Besides, Calix combines nobility and honor, soft masculine strength. The author did his best. All the guys here are just dream come true. The young man is also the main character's half-brother. And why does Calix continue to stand with his hand outstretched? And the future Duke Rosen wanted something else from Lady Yuri. The girl herself is at a loss to guess, to be honest. The face of the most beautiful young man immediately turned purple. His palm immediately gave in, and his eyes widened. The younger Duke immediately hurried away. What was it that Calix wanted? What a shame. Yuri definitely noticed it. The Duke's successor apologizes for detaining Lady Yuri. It was an absurd accident. The sun baked his head. And what was that all about? I should probably get this handsome prince to talk later. Calix is incredibly handsome even from behind. I wonder what exactly Calix wanted from the heroine. There was nothing like that in the storyline, and where to look for the answer then. The main character's carriage left the duchy's estate and entered the main street of the empire. How beautiful. The coachman stopped the carriage at a large and magnificent building. There were many people on the streets, and the horses snorted discontentedly at the passers-by. This is Gloss. This building stands out from all the others. It literally sparkles with luxury and wealth. Indecent luxury, a bunch of people around. This must be the personal boutique of the best tailor of the empire, Kaminsky's studio. So the girl figured it out. If Kaminsky's boutique was here, then the place she was looking for must be located very close by. Behind the luxurious facade of the boutique stood a small, unsightly building with a crooked sign. Yeah, judging by the crooked sign, this little house is a certain boutique of Madame Rosetta. The door to the boutique is locked, so it seems that clients should ring the court bell first. Why did the guards follow the girl? Even though the house looks like a murderer's house, everything there should be harmless. Why are there no signs of life inside the house? And what is the number on the house? Is it really the number of victims killed in it? Then, a deep female roar was heard throughout the entire street. Just a minute. The girl's skin almost peeled off her bones. There was a hurried clatter of feet, after which the workshop door finally fell open, and there was the charming Rosetta. And this seamstress looks very sweet and fragile, and that orc's voice definitely belonged to her. Did Rosetta really have a visitor? Lady Yuri passed by Rosetta's boutique and looked at a dress for herself, since she could go inside the studio. Of course, and the mongrel is sure that she did not confuse the dressmaker's studio with Kaminsky's boutique, because they are very close. The main character is absolutely sure of what she wants to see on herself during the ceremonial event, her pupils dilated. And here it is, the color of young grass, a light silhouette, simply delightful. This is the dress Yuri wore at the ball with the crown prince. Rosetta's work was so beautiful that it was called the main masterpiece of this summer. What does Madame Yuri think about this dress? It is definitely it, but the quality of the fabric is just appalling. It is because of this key flaw that this dress cannot be opened even halfway, well, in terms of fabric. The whole point here is that the girl is located next to Mr. Kaminsky's most popular boutique, and the dressmaker hardly has any clients coming to her. That's the maximum she can afford with the money she earns. The material of the dress does leave a lot to be desired, but Rosetta's design is simply gorgeous. Then there was a brazen knock at the door of the poor seamstress's house, followed by a creaky male voice. Oh, come on, the main character knows this unpleasant little voice, and what is actually going on here? Let Lady Yuri wait a bit for the dressmaker here. Kaminsky burst into the boutique. Why the hell doesn't Rosetta open the door for him? She has a visitor. The girl had already told the persistent gentleman never to come here again. But Rosetta keeps refusing Kaminsky. What else can he do? Act like a man and accept the refusal, for example. Her boutique is a disgrace to Carlis Street. How can she have the nerve to stand in front of Lord Kaminsky's boutique? There is no shame in owning your own business. Kaminsky already offered Rosetta a good price for everything. Let him get lost already. The girl has a visitor here. In such a shabby boutique with cheap fabrics and equipment, the visitor is probably a poor man or a blind person. Yes, the visitor is already tired of waiting for her tailor. Let the mustachioed clinger quickly leave this backyard. Wait, what? Kaminsky didn't hear right. That was the voice of Duke Rozan's daughter, and the heiress has been waiting a long time for the rascal to calm down his hysteria. The faces of the young lady's guards spoke of a threat at any moment. On Yuri's command, they could lead Kaminsky out of here in disgrace. Apparently, the best tailor in the city forgot the imperial nobility, so Yuri, the heiress of the Rozan family, they met recently. The uniforms of these guards are adorned with the familiar coat of arms in the form of a red rose, which means Kaminsky hasn't gone crazy. This is the daughter of Duke Rosanna, and not long ago the best tailor came to visit the estate of one of the oldest families in the empire. Yuri just wanted to choose a dress, and this troublemaker ruined her mood. The guards immediately flared up and grabbed their swords. Kaminsky is grateful for the visit. He no longer dares to disturb the young noblewoman. The tailor immediately flies out of the building. Rosetta began to shake. The girl could not believe that in front of her was a lady from a noble house. This was a great honor for her. The dressmaker immediately bowed in reverence. This was unnecessary. Rosetta really is very talented. There is no need to fear Lady Yuri. She is here because she liked her work. Rosetta is flattered. By the way, after hearing the words of that pompous turkey with a mustache, an idea came to Yuri's mind. And what will Rosetta say if the heiress of the Rosian family offers the dressmaker to buy half of her business? Rosetta will become Yuri's personal tailor. Her reputation will grow, and she will receive the title of aspiring negotiator. She finds it hard to believe that someone like Lady Yuri would invest in a dressmaker's business. It all seems like a fairy tale dream. Let the girl trust Lady Yuri. Her designs are simply brilliant and amazing. They will conquer the empire. Let the renovation of the boutique begin. In order to cope with the future influx of customers, the boutique's furnishings need to be changed. But any renovation will cost a lot of money, and the girl's character is not from a baker's family. The boutique founder won't have to worry about the financial aspect. Bree will figure it out herself. The main character has it. This is a promissory note from the Rosen family, so everything will work out. With this one, there is no need to worry about expenses. Rosetta will do everything to meet the expectations of such a generous young lady. Don't take everything so seriously. Let the dressmaker entrust the renovation of the Isis Trading Company. This trading company was secretly created by the Crown Prince, which meant it was the perfect opportunity to avoid the machinations of the mustachioed bastard next door. This is guaranteed security, useful connections, knowledge of the plot line of the novel is beneficial to her character. So, work matters are over for now. The girl needs to prepare herself for going out. The personal maids helped the young lady comb her purple hair. She's so beautiful. So today on the agenda is a visit to the salon of the Marquise Sciantic. The assistants immediately gasped. This is the family that owns the most famous salon. Even their invitations exude elegance. Her salon is a gathering place for many writers and actors, and charity concerts and plays are held. In addition, the Dowager Marchioness of Sciantic often appears. There she was, a lady-in-waiting to the current ruling family. And it is this noble person who is the godmother of the Crown Prince of the Empire. How lucky Lady Yuri is. But the lady should have been told about this earlier. The maids would have prepared her much more thoroughly then. Okay. The young lady is indeed guilty. But my lady will still be the most beautiful at the dinner party. The heroine in a velvet dress with black lace came down to the hall of the Rosen estate. Her character truly surpasses all the heroines of the novel in beauty. Long purple curls, big ice-colored eyes, sensual lips, noble facial features. It is clear why all the main characters do not give her character a break. The young lady will capture the attention of all the invited guests. Lady Yuri looks simply delightful. Then the voice of the stepsister was heard. And where was Yuri heading in such a state, and did not even say goodbye to Elena? Yuri is dressed like that. Apparently the girl was getting ready to go somewhere very diligently, but she had to run into this snake at the end. She really needs to visit one place. Elena's mother didn't say that Yuri was invited somewhere, that's right. Elena immediately gasped and covered her mouth with her hand, since her mother did not know that Lady Yuri had been invited. The girl was sent an invitation directly. Yuri can't depend on her stepmother for invitations after all. She debuted a year ago. Elena had only recently made her debut, so that's how it was. My sister began to nervously bite her nails. And where is the independent bird Roseanne going? To the salon of the Marquise Sciantic. Elena immediately clenched her fists until they hurt. The stepsister began to look at the main character from under her brows. How hard it was for her to hide her true emotions. Let Yuri have fun there. She will tell about everything upon arrival. Let Elena tell her mother that no one should wait for her. Let them go to bed. Easy road for my sister. Let the heiress of the Roseanne family not worry about anything. Elena will do everything. The stepsister will pass everything on to her mother. An unkind gleam flashed in Elena's eyes. It's time for her to become independent. The salon of the Marquise Sciantic is a prestigious and popular place where the girl has a specific goal. This is an important episode in the storyline where the main character discovers her second talent. The girl's reputation immediately increased. Everywhere there was a crowd of elegant guests. Their clothes were made of luxurious fabrics, delicate silk, soft velvet, a real paradise for Rosetta. As expected, just visiting the famous salon raises one's status and reputation in high society. Well, wow. The young and beautiful Lady Yuri, who the social ladies were waiting for, has finally arrived at the salon. Apparently, even masks cannot hide the true identities of the guests. So much the better for the main character. The madam whispered to the young guest that the gentleman was a famous writer, and Yuri's intelligence points increased. The main character has heard enough of secular conversations and gossip. Visiting salons is really a useful thing. It's like going on social networks. The girl's reputation has reached its peak very quickly. Everything is going according to plan. All that remains is to wait for the plot twist. Madam is pleased to announce that young Miss Yuri's communication skills and etiquette are worthy of their chief guest tonight. The girl should not give in to excitement at all. This only means that Lady Yuri Madame was waiting for her the most. There is only one main guest who never managed to show himself to the heroine. Could it be that he missed the dinner party? A playful sparkle flashed in the madam's eyes in that case. Perhaps the young lady could help find the most important guest among the crowd. And how the main character should find the one who is not named to her. Let them make a photo fit or draw it by hand. Madame is sure that such a smart girl has already guessed which gentleman is being discussed. She was going to introduce them anyway. So, the madam invites the beautiful guest to play a game with her and have fun searching. If Yuri finds the guest in 3 songs, she wins a new task. Marquise Siontic wonders where this person is. You need to complete the given task in 30 minutes and guess who this most important guest of the Marquise is. A satisfied smile appeared on the main character's face. He was here. The plot of the novel was being written like clockwork. The new task from Marquise Siontic sounds fun and coincides with the goals of the main character. She is participating in this game.